Hi besties, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Rachel and welcome to a new weekly reading vlog. So, plans for this week. Number one, I am currently reading 2 books and they are going so well. I cannot wait to talk about those. I also have 2 of my most anticipated releases coming out tomorrow. That is Wild Love by Elsie Silver and then A Promise of Peridot by Kate Golden. And I also just have a million books on my TBR that I wish I could read all at once. Do you ever just have so many books that you want to read right now, but obviously that's not possible? That is the mood that I am in. If I could read like 3 books a day, I would, because truly everything sounds so good. I'm in such a big reading mood, which I feel like doesn't need to be said because I literally have a YouTube channel dedicated to reading. But needless to say, I feel very good about this week. I feel like I'm going to find some new favorites because of my current reads that are going so well, and then also just other books that I'm really looking forward to picking up and talking about with you all. So let's talk about my current reads and then plans for the rest of the week. Okay, so number one, a book that I'm currently reading just for the summer by Queen Abby Jimenez. I am absolutely loving this book, and specifically, I am absolutely in love with Justin. He is the definition of if he wanted to, he would. And they literally talk about that in the book, but truly the way that this man shows his affection, shows how much he cares, the effort he puts into getting to know our female main character, making her feel seen, making her feel cared for, is unmatched. I'm in love with him. He is amazing. I actually think I like him more than I like Jacob, who was in Yours Truly, her book that she came out with last year, which was one of my favorite books of the year and is one of my favorite books of all time. Jacob being one of my favorite book boyfriends. Justin, he might be even better, okay? I have been having so much fun with this book. I literally started it this morning and I'm almost done with it. I think I have like 100 pages left. So before I finish it, let's quickly talk about what this book is about and what I am enjoying about it. Our main characters are Emma and Justin. They have a very strange thing in common where when people date them, after they break up, those people end up meeting their soulmates. So Justin, he makes a post about this on Reddit. It ends up going viral. Emma sees it and she decides to reach out to him to be like, hey, I have that same problem. After they talk for a little bit, they decide, why don't we date and see if we can break this curse, and hopefully after we go out on a few dates we break up and then we can find our own soulmates. But once Emma and Justin get to know each other, they start going out on dates, they of course start to fall for one another, and this really puts them in a bit of a predicament because they thought this was going to be kind of a short-term thing. They both have a lot going on in their lives and they're not really sure how they can put their lives together, but they know that they have such a strong connection. There's so much chemistry between them. Oh my god, they are truly so compatible, but they are fighting, falling in love a little bit due to some external factors. So with Justin, we find out that his mother is going to prison, and this means he is going to have to take custody of his 3 younger siblings. This is turning his world upside down as he takes on a new role as a parental figure to his siblings and tries to adjust to his new normal. On the opposite side, Emma has always had a very tumultuous relationship with her mother. Her mother actually lost custody of her when she was a child due to neglect, but now Emma is an adult. She's very independent, but her mother ends up coming into her life again, and Emma is really trying to navigate her relationship with her mother, and she doesn't know if maybe she's changed, maybe if things are better. She does make quite a few excuses for her and apologizes for her, but she doesn't really know if her mom is actually turning a new leaf and actually does want to spend time with her, or if it's going to be a lot of the same treatment that she has had in the past. So both of them have their own parental things that are going on and changes in their life, and they're trying to navigate, can we make our lives work together? Are the things that we have been through going to be too much and too difficult to navigate in starting a new relationship? So that's kind of the conflict of this book. Usually Abby Jimenez does add a little extra layer of usually something very emotional in her romances, but I feel like she does a good job of adding that, but then not taking away from the romance. The romance does still feel absolutely central to the plot, and those issues that they're having on the side do coincide with the romance, I think, in a really good way. So I'm really enjoying this. I really love the way that Abby Jimenez writes romance. Yours Truly was fantastic, but as I said, I think I might like this even better, you guys. This is so good. I just really love this couple. There's a lot of humor in this book. The setting is really fantastic, and just everything about this book is really working for me. To be honest with you, I'm probably gonna finish this book after I film this clip, so I will give you guys my final thoughts the next time we check in. But this is amazing. Please go pick this up. Oh my god, it is such a feel-good romance, and I'm absolutely loving it. All right, and then my other current read I am reading on my Kindle, and that is Lady of Ashes by Melissa K. Rorick. So this is the 3rd book in the Lady of Darkness series, which is an adult fantasy romance, which features fae, vampires, witches, shifters. We have amazing little like magical animal companions and a really explosive plot. So as this is book 3, I'm not gonna go too much into it, but I'm really liking this. I am 100 pages in, so I'm only like 15% of the way through. So we do have a lot more book to go, but I just really think in this 3rd book, the story is hitting its stride. I'm really falling in love and feeling very invested in all of these characters. I've talked about this with this series before, but I think that the strength of this series is how big this cast of characters is. It is a multi-POV fantasy romance, and we really get to know everyone's perspective. I really like seeing everyone's opinions and thoughts on different scenarios going on. I think it just makes the story so rich and so dynamic, and constantly jumping between POVs is just so entertaining to me. In this first 100 pages of Lady of Ashes though, it is rough. There's something very sad and tragic going on in the first part of this book. There's a big feeling of hopelessness, of despair, of how the hell are we going to get out of this? What are we gonna do to move forward? And it's very, very tough to read about, but I do think that Melissa K. Rorick is very good at getting those feelings across. I am feeling what these characters are feeling. I am in these situations with them and really hoping that things get fixed soon. But I am really enjoying this book. I'm liking the direction of the plot overall. I'm very curious to see how it all plays out, and I'm just having a lot of fun with it. So that's going well. As I said though, I'm only a little bit into it, so we'll see how things go, but I will definitely keep you guys updated on that. And then plans for the rest of the week. I mean, you guys know, like, I could say I'm gonna read a book, but then my mood will change in a couple days. So these are my tentative plans for this week. But tomorrow we have Wild Love by Elsie Silver and A Promise of Peridot by Kate Golden coming out. I did pre-order those. Those should be arriving tomorrow. I'm really excited about both of those, so I might be getting to those this week. Additionally, today I actually received an ARC in the mail, and this book sounds so good, so I actually might try to read this week as well. And it is called The Deer and the Dragon by Piper CJ. This is a fantasy romance, but I feel like it leans more paranormal actually. And we have angels and demons and a prince from hell and fae. So like, I'm there. I'm so there. I think that this book sounds so cool. I did just kind of briefly look at the back, and I also think that this book has a bisexual female main character, which would be so fantastic. So I'm really excited about this book. It just sounded really good. Also, I got these really beautiful like character art cards. So this is our female main character. Her name is Marlowe. And then we have Caliban, who is the Prince of Hell. Very exciting. Absolutely love that. So this book sounds really good, and I am always on the lookout for like more paranormal romances just because I love Crescent City so much, and I'm always looking for something that kind of gives me that like city, urban, modern, paranormal romance vibe, and then has like a really intriguing fantasy element in it as well. So this book sounds like that might fit that bill. So I'm excited about this. It does come out next month, but I might want to give it a try this week, and hopefully I will love it. So I am really excited about the books coming out this week, about The Deer and the Dragon, and then of course my 2 current reads. So I'm gonna go and I will probably finish Just for the Summer, and then I will read a little bit more of Lady of Ashes, and I will talk soon when I have more reading updates. Hello besties. So it is the next day, and I'm here to give you guys some reading updates. Number 1, Just for the Summer. I finished this last night, and oh my god, I'm not okay. I am not okay. This book was absolute perfection. This book is everything I want from a contemporary romance. It made me feel everything, and I loved every single second of it. This is a 5-star read for me, which I am so excited because I have not given a contemporary romance a 5-star rating in quite a long time, like several months. Has to be sometime last year. I don't even know when, but this book just really had me in a chokehold, honestly, from the first chapter, and it never disappointed. The pacing was fantastic. The writing was beautiful. The relationship development was so well done. The characterization was great. The kind of side plot lines I think were handled so well. I loved everything about this. I really love Justin and Emma. I know I talked about this so much yesterday, but just the way that Justin cares for her is so amazing, and the way that they communicated their issues to one another, just everything I thought was really beautiful. I also really enjoyed how Emma kind of recognized some of her own destructive tendencies and realized she needed to work on herself to be a better partner. That was really great. And I also really enjoyed the exploration of having a difficult relationship with a parent when you are an adult, and kind of how do you tackle that? How do you handle that? That whole situation with Emma and her mom, the direction that went, and some of the revelations that Emma had, I just really enjoyed that. I thought that was a great addition to the book, and once again, never detracted from the romance, but felt so important to Emma and her character and her development as a whole. And at the same time, this book was very lighthearted and very fun and very sweet and just such a joy to read. I loved every single second. 5 stars, 100%, made me feel all the feelings. Oh, there is basically no spice. Abby Jimenez writes spice the same way that Emily Henry does, which means there's just a whisper of spicy times. There is like a scene, but you know, as I said, whisper. So just something to be aware of. I don't mind though, because I think that the most important thing for me is that we have a well-developed romance, and that is exactly what Abby Jimenez delivers on. So I loved it, absolutely no complaints, and I'm just so happy that I read this. And then today I have made more progress on Lady of Ashes. I am now 40% of the way through this book. Really enjoying it still. So good. so many things happening, a lot of revelations in that book as well, a lot of building up the plot even more problems are being presented. It's like we get the answers to some things and then it brings up like 5 more questions and 5 more problems that we are going to have to address. But I'm really enjoying the way that the story is unfolding, and some of the character development I think is well done in this book, and also just some dynamic shifts within the group, which I'm enjoying, and I think it's just keeping things fresh. So I am really liking this installment of the series. Also, can I say there is a character named Azriel Luan. I don't know if I'm supposed to like him, but like I'm catching feelings a little bit. I really enjoy him. He's not like a main character, but he's definitely there, and every time he's on page I just get so excited. But I'm not really sure if he's like all the way good or kind of what his role in the overall plot is going to be, but I just want to put that out there. Azriel is, you know, very enticing. I'm very curious about what his character is going to do. And then I am very excited because I did receive the 2 new releases that came out today, and that is A Promise of Peridot and Wild Love. I'm so excited about both of these. Oh my god. Okay, first of all, A Promise of Peridot is quite a bit longer than I thought it was going to be, but I think this cover is beautiful. I'm super excited to read this, but as excited as I am to read A Promise of Peridot, I am even more excited to read Wild Love. I'm so excited that this is in my hands. I can't believe it. We have a new Elsie book. I'm going to start this tonight. I decided I'm going to start this tonight, and I'm going to read this alongside Lady of Ashes because I just need to know. I need to meet Ford and Rosie. Like, I have just been thinking about this book ever since Elsie announced it, and I'm just really excited to have a new series from her to look forward to. And a lot of people are reading this today, and I've just been seeing amazing things. I posted about this on my story and people responded and were like, oh my god, it's so good. So I'm super hyped up now. So I think I'm going to start this tonight. Even if I just get like a few chapters in, I just want to get into this world and, you know, put on my cowgirl hat and go to Rose Hill, which is where this book takes place. So really looking forward to this. I will definitely keep you guys updated on my thoughts with this. And I think that's going to be it for me. I think I'm just going to be doing laundry, reading, hanging out. It's going to be a pretty chill night, and we will talk soon when I have more reading updates. Besties, happy Friday. How are we? So a couple of things. Number one, I did just film a book haul, which is why I have stacks of books around me. That should already be up by the time that you are seeing this vlog, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. And then number two, I am like 90% sure I was wearing this color in the last vlog check-in. I haven't edited it yet, but pretty sure that I was wearing this color. So yeah, I hope you guys like lilac. I apparently do. I really discovered I really like spring colors on me. I think that they work with my hair, my skin tone, my eyes. So I've just been doing the most with lilac and pink lately, but let's talk reading updates. So I have finished Lady of Ashes, and it was so good. You guys, I am just loving the series, truly having so much fun with it. It just does so many amazing things that I really enjoy in fantasy romance. I love the cast of characters. I love the stakes. The way that this book ended was so wild, and I think it's really just turned a lot of this plot on its head. We were introduced to this big cast of characters in the second book in the series, and in the third book, we experienced betrayal. We experienced alliances forming, alliances breaking. You don't really know who to trust. I think it's all done really well, and it's just keeping the story so interesting. I could not put this book down yesterday, and I just really love it. The series is everything, and I'm really excited to see what happens in book 4 because book 3 was crazy, and as I said, so many things changed, and I truly do not know what to expect with how things are going to end in the series because of how many characters have surprised me in good ways and in bad ways. So really happy with this book. It is a 4-star for me. And I also did want to say, because I have talked about this a little bit when I have talked about the first 2 books, that there are definitely similarities to ACOTAR in Throne of Glass, and I saw that for sure in book 1, a little bit in book 2 as well. But I feel like in this third book, the series really hit its own kind of original stride. I feel like a lot of the comparisons just aren't there anymore for me, and I'm really enjoying that because I feel like the series, there's just a lot of originality in this third book. I feel like we're going off in really different directions. So I did just want to mention that if you are reading the series and you're wondering about that, I think it does strike out on its own by this third book. So really happy to see that. The author, Melissa K. Rorick, she actually posted on her Instagram today about like her future series that she has planned, and she has the Lady of Darkness series, which is already completed. She is currently in the middle of the Legacy series, which I'm definitely going to be picking up very soon, as soon as I'm done with Lady of Darkness, and then she has 9 other series planned.
Like, hello, 9 other series. We're going to have books from her for decades. Like, oh my god, I can't believe that. I'm so excited. It just makes me really happy because I think she's going to become one of my new favorite fantasy romance authors. As long as I continue to like this series and then really enjoy the Legacy series, I will pick up anything she puts out because I just like the way that she does fan row. It really works for me, and I'm really happy that I read Lady of Ashes. Also, I did just want to say I'm sorry if my voice sounds weird. I have been sick the last few days, but I am feeling better, but like my voice still sounds a little scratchy, so apologies if that's annoying. Apologies if my regular voice is annoying. That's fair too. Now, let's talk about the next book that I'm reading, which is Wild Love by Elsie Silver. I couldn't wait anymore. I'm so happy to have a new book by Elsie Silver. She is my favorite romance author, and this book is so good. Why am I just killing it with contemporary romance lately? It's so funny because for like 6 months, I was in such a drought with contemporary romance. I was questioning my entire life. I was like, do I even like contemporary romance? I just don't seem to have a lot of success with it. But Elsie Silver and Abby Jimenez said, absolutely not, bestie. We are here to help. This book is so good. I'm having so much fun with it. Oh my god, it's giving me that just giggly butterfly Elsie Silver feeling that she gave me in books like Heartless and Reckless and Powerless. Those are my 3 favorite books by her. And this I think is going to be a new favorite as well. This is so good. So if you don't know what this book is about, it is the first book in the Rose Hill series, which does exist in the same universe as the Chestnut Springs series. You don't have to read that first, but I would because I think you're going to get the most out of it. Our main character, his name is Ford Grant. He is a billionaire and he decides to build a like recording studio out on his family's land near the Canadian Rockies, and he kind of moves back to his small hometown to just kind of relax. And our female main character, she is also from this small town and she has been living in the big city in Vancouver and just kind of living her life in the corporate world. Something happens at her job that is just really messed up and terrible. I don't want to say what it is because it's kind of a spoiler, but she leaves her job and decides to go back home to kind of just recoup and figure out what she wants to do moving forward. And Ford, he is her brother's best friend, so we have that trope. And the two of them, they did like grow up hanging out, and I think there was always like a little bit of feelings there, but they never pursued it. But now that they are back in the same place, those like subtle feelings have really just turned up a notch, and the two of them are finding themselves spending a lot of time together and falling for each other. And it's just been super fun so far. I really love our main character. I find her to be relatable, fun, funny. She is just such a light in this book. And then Ford is just like so amazing. Oh my god, Ford Grant, period, end of sentence. I love him. I love him. He is grumpy. He's a little bit withdrawn. I don't know why. I always love those male main characters. I don't know why. I just eat it up every single time. And Ford, he is very stoic. He is very successful, but he also definitely like has some things that he needs to work through, and then also has a very big life change happen at the beginning of this book. But he just like takes it in stride so well, and their dynamic is just everything. I love it, and like the tension and the spice. It's 10 out of 10. Elsie Silver's always going to deliver on that. I absolutely love this. I am about like 55% of the way done through this book, so I really enjoyed it. I've flown through it. This book has just made me so happy, and it's so much fun, and just, as I said, giving me butterflies. So I'm going to continue reading Wild Love, and then I do want to start The Deer and the Dragon, which is somewhere in this book haul. I don't know if I'm gonna finish it in this vlog, but I'll definitely start it and give you guys my thoughts, and then in my April wrap-up I will discuss in full, but I definitely want to get that started and I'll give you guys my first impressions. But yeah, this weekend is probably gonna be pretty crazy, but I am gonna try to fit in some reading. I need to pre-film a video for when I'm gone because I'm going on vacation very soon, and I just need to like get packing and get my life together because we're about to go on our trip. So I'm gonna be filming and reading and packing and getting organized this weekend, but I will definitely make sure to check in with you guys once I have finished this and then started my next book. Hi besties. So it is the next day and I have a little bit of a reading update for you. So I did finish Wild Love this morning and it was so good. I really loved this one. I think the banter in this book was so amazing. It was so witty. Seeing Rosie and Ford verbally spar throughout the entire book was just so entertaining, and I definitely think in all of Elsie Silver's books, I've read almost all of them except for one. I just need to read one more in the Gold Rush Ranch series, but out of all of her books, this is definitely in the top half. I really loved it. I thought the romance development was really great. I loved the setting, and then also we had this like third act conflict, which I feel like was handled very well and pretty maturely, all things said and done. It didn't like ruin all of the work that we'd put into this couple, which I really appreciated. And I also forgot to mention that Ford does have a daughter in this book. Her name is Cora. She's 12 and she is amazing. I loved her and I loved her presence in this book. She is such a moody tween, and her dynamic with Rosalie, her dynamic with Ford, it was really good, really sweet, funny. She was such an important presence in the book, and I think it would have been so different without her, and I'm really happy that she was in it. So I loved that addition. I am going to settle with a 4-star rating. There were moments where I thought I was gonna give this book 5-star for sure, but by the time I finished it, it felt like a 4-star, and I think that's mainly because this book is 450 pages long. That is very long, and I just feel like it could have been shorter and it wouldn't have detracted from the story at all. There are some romances that I've read that are longer, and I think that they need to be longer, like Binding 13, for example. That is a longer romance, but so much is going on in that, and you're really getting like their full life story along with the romance. For a story like this, I feel like it could have been shorter, and I don't think that the romance would have suffered. Personally, I just feel like it went on a little bit too long, and within those last 100 pages, I was kind of ready for everything to wrap up, and it just kept going. So that is just kind of like the only negative that I have to say, but I did really, really love this, had a ton of fun with it, and I'm really excited for this entire series. All right, so that is it for reading updates today. I am going to start The Deer and the Dragon, as I said, and I'll give you guys thoughts on that, but I wanted to do just like a little mini bookshelf reorganization, should I say. I got a really beautiful edition of the Throne of Glass series, and it deserves its own spotlight, so I actually want to like rearrange some of my Throne of Glass books so that she can have a moment. This is the edition. It's by Acrylopix Book Nook, I believe, and really gorgeous dust jackets and spines, and then the stenciled edges like all line up when you put the books together and make this really beautiful picture. So like this needs to be in the background of every single one of my videos, obviously, right? So I do want to do a little bit of organizing. I have my, you can't like really see them right now, but I have my Nerdy Ink Throne of Glass editions up on that one shelf, and those are completely by themselves. I think I'm gonna move those and then put these in its place so that they'll be in a lot of my videos, because I tend to sit in this general area when I film, and I just want to have these on display and look at them every day because I'm so in love with them. So we're gonna do a little bookshelf reorganization, and then I will probably start reading my next book. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Hello, stunning friends. It is time for me to close out this little vloggy vlog, but I do want to give you guys my first impression thoughts on The Deer and the Dragon. I am a little bit of the way into this. I want to say I'm like 20% of the way through. I'm just gonna give like very brief thoughts on it just because I want to read the whole book before I give you guys all of the juicy deeds. But this book follows our main character, Marlo, and Marlo lives in like a modern day city. In the beginning of the book, she is on a date with this terrible guy, and we find out after she goes home that she lives in this very like mysterious apartment. She is an author of a fantasy romance series, which is really cool, and she has this like being that comes and visits her in her apartment. She has a gift slash curse that also was bestowed upon her mother and her grandmother, where she is able to see angels and demons, and that is who is visiting her. She has named him Caliban, and they've had like a little bit of a romantic relationship, but she has been trying to push him away as she tries to focus on real life, but their connection is really, really strong. After her initial interactions with him, he ends up going missing, and she is informed by a fae about this, and this gets her entangled in a war and just way more than she bargained for. So initial first impression thoughts, I really do like our main character. She feels very modern, it feels very fresh, truly feels like a girly living in 2024 who just happens to be able to see angels and demons. I like the setting, I like her sense of humor, and I think that there's just a ton of mystery surrounding her. Like I said, since I am so early on into the book, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more revealed about her, but I do like how much the author is kind of keeping hidden in the beginning, and we're very slowly learning bits and pieces about her. And Caliban is very intriguing, very mysterious. There is tons of tension between them, and I'm just very curious to see kind of how the relationship that they've had in the past is going to motivate Marlo to kind of get involved in this centuries-long war and thrust her into this like paranormal world. So I'm really excited to see some of those like paranormal potential fantasy elements come to play a little bit more. But I like the writing, I like our main character, and I do like the setup so far. So those are my first impressions, but I will definitely let you guys know like my final thoughts, of course, in my April wrap up. But I am really excited about this book. So those are my first impressions, looking forward to continuing reading. However, I am going to end things here though, because we are leaving for our trip very soon. I'm sorry if this vlog was like kind of boring. I feel like, I don't know, my mind has been elsewhere and I've just had so many things going on, but I did still want to get a vlog up for you guys this week. So I do hope that you guys enjoyed. Honestly, I had like a really good reading week this week. Of course, with Lady of Ashes, continuing that series has been really fun. Just for the Summer is a new all-time favorite and I loved it. Wild Love is a really good time. And The Deer and the Dragon has a ton of potential that I'm really, really excited about. It feels very unique to a lot of what I read, so I'm very curious to see how that book ends up. But thank you for being here and watching this video. If you made it to this point and you wanted to let me know, go ahead and leave a deer and a dragon emoji. Please make sure that you are following me on Instagram and Goodreads. They are always linked down below. And I really appreciate that you watched this video. I hope that you are having a fantastic day. I love you all so, so much, and I will catch you guys in the next one.